'Cause we're differently abled, differently.
Welcome back. With no manual to care for their children with disabilities, caregivers are going out of their way to find best practices to be able to give a decent and comfortable life to their children. Take a look at what Irene has embarked on.
Irene's story is that of making lemonades from lemons.
Irene Care is, I would say, it's still a startup, and we are really looking to expand our wings in form of partnerships to work with all these communities and organizations that are in the brain and neuro space. It came from a very personal journey of my own daughter, and I felt I really need to just take ownership of this whole issue and really create the much needed awareness that a solution exists for brain and neuro care. Because even when I was getting solutions, trying to get solutions for my own child, I realized people don't have so many answers, or rather there are no much solutions. Yes, of course we have the therapists, and we cannot, they do work, yes, but this, for us, this is one that is gonna work on the brain and neuro directly. Yeah? Much as one is doing the therapies, us, we are gonna be there creating awareness that from the brain and neuro perspective, there's actually a solution from the inside.
She got the scare of her life after her last-born daughter gradually lost speech at a tender age.
For my daughter, at 15 months old, she had her speech in terms of very many number of words, just in accordance to the standard milestones that a child of her age would be. And at around 18 months, I noticed that the words were completely gone. She was just babbling with no real words coming out. And indeed, when I visited the monthly clinics, yes, the nurses noticed that. And of course, I asked the doctors, including, the general doctors and including the pediatricians. And they were of the opinion that if she would not have achieved her speech milestones by, say, age 3, we can do speech therapy. I had not witnessed that in like any of my children, much as we are told not to compare children. For me, it was a very stressful moment as a mother, and I kept wondering, oh my goodness, what did I do? Like, is it something that I ate, and the breast milk affected her? Did she fall? And it was a very stressful period because, blame games here and there.
She couldn't just sit and wait as instructed, but embarked on finding answers.
When the doctors told me to wait for the speech therapy, for me, I was like, wow. For me, I didn't feel like I wanted to wait. And I started doing my own research around speech. I Googled a lot, I read books, I went to the social media to just get more stories about speech, because it had never really happened to me before. And as I was doing my research, I got to even understand more about the whole brain and neural health issues. And the more research I did about my baby, everything was like leading me to autism issues. So it even became a more interest to me just to learn more about it.
After a while, she found a product she would rely on.
I read their testimonials, what they were doing around the brain and neural health. And coincidentally, the same day I came across it on Facebook, they actually had a Zoom meeting that evening. It's a company from India, and I joined in the meeting that evening, and I asked all the questions regarding my daughter. As much as I read the good testimonials, I listened to people talk about it. For me, I was more confident because of the science backing behind the ingredients that actually support brain and neural health.
This was her turning point as gradually her daughter regained speech.
So after some time, the products landed in Kenya, and I remember by then my daughter was exactly 22 months old. So all this time, between now the 18 months and the 22 months, she still had not gained her speech, and she was just babbling. So she began taking the product, now Supra Brain, when she was exactly 22 months old. The recommended dosage was 6 months at least. So within 2 months of usage, and I was very strict with the dosage, like I ensured every day she has to take the capsules. Within the 2 months of usage, we could clearly tell that the number of words had been restored, and even more words had come. Within 6 months, she was already forming short sentences. Coincidentally, they were also looking for someone to help them create awareness about this wonderful solution for the brain and neural health. And actually, that's how I came into this space, to help them create the awareness. And over the time, from that time, we have had a lot of people coming in and getting the same benefits that my child did, and not just around speech, but all the general conditions regarding brain and neural health, like autism, cerebral palsy, Down syndrome. In addition to the Supra Brain that really helped my child, there's actually also the vegan omega-3. Both are what we call the Ayurvedic and cell regenerative products, and that actually is what differentiates them and gives very good results, because both products, they manage to improve the blood flow and oxygen in the brain, thus helping anything to do with brain and neural health. It's always recommended to follow the dosage correctly for one to get very good results, yeah? Because had I said that, in a month or less than 2 months, I will stop the dosage because I'm not seeing results from day one, I would not have gotten the wonderful results I got after the 6 months.
However, she cautions that this is not medicine and parents have to get the required medical assessment.
It is not a medicine, but it's a product that will help in anything brain and neuro. So depending on the age and the condition, we're able to advise on the best period, the dosage, when you can take it overall. Yeah. It's not a case of completely 100% say eliminating autism. There's really no cure for these conditions. For example, autism, CP, and Down syndrome. What these wonderful products do is to help to give the persons a very independent and improved life, and in a very natural and safe way. Because at the end of the day, what we need for our loved ones is that high level of independence and quality of life. As I create the awareness and I interact with a lot of parents and caregivers, I've come to realize that actually a lot of kids behave just the way mine behaved. A lot of parents. And for me, I would say mine was an early intervention, and that's why we were able to achieve the speech. And right now, as I speak, she's 3.5 years old, and she already attained, the speech milestones. She joined playgroup recently, and she's within the milestones in terms of speech, the standard milestones in terms of speech. So as I interact with the parents and the caregivers, you come to realize some kids behaved like the way mine behaved, and maybe they are now 6, 9, 10 years old, even 3 years old, and perhaps they have not yet attained the speech. Probably, yes, there was no that early intervention. But the good thing is, it doesn't matter where one is at, how this suprabrain and omega-3 works. It is irrespective of whether your child had spoken. It is irrespective of whether you did the early intervention. At the end of the day, it's the brain cells that are being helped to, repaired and also being regenerated.
The only challenge is the cost of these products, given that they have to be imported from India.
My background is finance and it's all about numbers. So right now we have to meet our costs as a company. And as you understand, the overheads have to be taken care of in terms of costs. And but the more you sell, the more you can be able to average, even say the dollar cost, the more you can be able to even give a better price. So in terms of pricing, we are really trying to create this much needed awareness, to reach as many people as possible, millions as possible, so that the price can be favorable to all. The recommended dosage is 6 to 8 months, and we always advise for one to take consistently for the 6 to 8 months. And for those who have administered correctly, we continue to see wonderful, wonderful results. Just the same way I did for my child. She took consistently and I saw the results. So that is especially for the special conditions. Now, after the 6 to 8 months, your cells have regenerated very well and progressively. And it's still safe to take it, but in case one is not able, there is no regression, because that's the question I get from a lot of parents and caregivers. Is there regression? No, there's no regression, because the products were working on the cells progressively, and that's why they're able to give you very good results. Yeah. So for me, once in a while in the house, I give all my kids, even the 3.5-year-old, but I never witnessed any regression. Whether I'm giving her or not, I have consistently seen the speech.
Irene is hopeful that with time, through Irene Care, the products will be readily available in Kenya.
As we work towards getting all these partnerships, I'm sure we're gonna get there to have an enabling environment, to have more space for all these children and adults who are in need of these services. We really want to work with all these people who will help to bring better services to the communities, and not just in Kenya, but globally, because as I mentioned, we actually distribute the products to any part of the globe.
Let's take a look at the UN Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities.
Article 7 of the UN Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities, Part 2 says that in all actions concerning children with disabilities, the best interest of the child shall be a primary consideration.
On Disability Pet Peeve today, we focus on inclusivity in the process of employment. For context, anytime an organization has a job opening, they have to put adverts out there. Therefore, employers need to use all formats possible to cut across the different disabilities we have. It's annoying to find that tagline that says persons with disabilities are encouraged to apply, while in essence, some are already excluded simply because they cannot access the job adverts. Therefore, employers need to put that in mind to ensure that everyone has access to the job advertisements that are out there. Remember, disability awareness should not be a one-day event. Let's spread the word every day. Until next time, my name is Jane Theory, signing off.
We are here and we are strong. Let's be counted as we move on. Make a difference, change lives as we tell our different stories. We are capable, beautiful. We are born to do great things. We're unstoppable, incredible, 'cause we're differently abled, differently.